Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to our Positive Prime Party. We're here to celebrate. Okay, so to get us in the mood, we're going to start watching Being Happier. And I'll be back in a couple of minutes' time because we might have many more people joining us. And we'll start to go... oh, I feel very happy actually thinking about this. I feel playful. I think that's the idea, isn't it? So we'll start on speed 1 and go to full screen.
Wow.
Wow.
Nice.
Really nice. Thank you. Okay, so let's get started for our celebration circle. There are a couple of little, I suppose, pre-messages. One is, and I am so incredibly grateful that Dr. Selena Bartlett is actually here because she will be able to confirm or deny whether this is in fact the truth. This is really putting her on the spot. So, interestingly enough, I actually recently read that when we recall how amazing our lives are, how grateful we feel, but in particular, if we share the excitement that we have or the pride that we have around an achievement, an accomplishment, something that we're actually really, really, really grateful that we have the opportunity to do. Oh, we've got a little bit of feedback. So let's see. Maybe that's about muting or unmuting. So the interesting thing is I heard that you actually get a little bit of a dopamine hit, and that's actually very healthy for the brain. And I was inspired to actually really start to think about, how do we celebrate? And are we having fun on this journey? And so one of the other aspects that is inspiring this is that there is this metaphysical concept, or really from the mystical traditions, that says that when you can be truly happily delighted for somebody else, actually you think it's amazing and you're so happy for them, what happens is that you're in vibrational alignment with more good things actually occurring in your own life. So I just think, why don't we all very quickly share a really great win, and then have everybody else send their celebratory energy to us, and so that we are allowed to feel fantastic that things are going well in our lives. I think that there's so few opportunities in our real life, in all of the business, where we actually get to be savouring in the magnificence of the tiny little things that we accomplish. And they don't have to be big things, right? So they can just be, you know what, I was feeling really anxious and I decided to do something proactive, and I watched a positive crime session and I chose being happier, or I chose Chris Carlson's Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it helped me to calm down, and I could actually essentially carry on with my day a little bit better. So before we dive in and we ask maybe Patty first in Pennsylvania to share hers, I'm going to share two really quick wins. I've been watching more of the health sessions myself, and I have lost in the last 2 months effectively what is just more than 6 kilos in Australian terms. So what's that, 2.2 times? That's what, 12, 14? Is it? Anyway, about that in pounds. And I'm really proud of myself because I've been getting up early and I've been going for a hike with Cameron, or we've been going to our local school where there's a swimming pool, and we've been swimming laps. And I've just been really a lot healthier. I've cut down on the amount of alcohol that I've been drinking, the sugar I've been consuming, the really complex carbohydrates that are really healthy I've been continuing with. But I feel fantastic. So I don't think that I would be inspired to do that and stay on the straight and narrow if I didn't have a tool like Positive Prime. And I'm going to tell you another really quick story about one of my clients that I heard from yesterday. So,
can we celebrate your success right now?
Oh,
before
okay,
we get
right.
to the client? Can we celebrate? Yes! That's awesome!
Thank you. Okay. See, Pam, this is why we need you, right? As a
don't skip over your win. Let's get that in there and celebrate you. That's amazing.
Thank you. Okay, so then my client actually said to me yesterday, you know, Kim, how we personalize sessions, we add our own private photos. And I said, yeah. And he said, you wouldn't believe it. I got invited to a film festival. At the last minute, I decided to go, and I ended up being invited at the very last minute by pure chance to this party that was about 20, 30 minutes outside of Park City, and it had this spectacular view. It was this magnificent, huge mansion, and I walked into this home, and I found out that the person who owned this home, who was there at the party, who I got to meet, was this really famous director and writer. And I'll put this into context. This particular client of mine is quite a well-known actor in New York and has a home in LA. And to cut a long story short, we actually decided to put all of these photographs of stages that he had already graced, but others that he really wanted to appear on, and actors that he wanted to work with, and directors and producers and so forth. And then he said to me, you wouldn't believe it, at that party, I actually got to meet this bookish looking man. We had a great conversation. And I ended up having a meeting with him last Friday in LA, and I was sitting in his office, and you know how you put those photographs of these stills from these movie scenes inside my private photos? And I said, yes, because we actually have a service where we do that for people if they want, even though everyone can do it for themselves. But those people who are challenged with technology might have us do it. Anyway, so the crazy thing is, we're sitting in this office, and on the walls are posters framed of these scenes that we have actually put into his priming sessions. And he's like, Kim, my gosh, you know what? Like you did that. That was your energy healing. And I said, no. You're the one that got super clear about what you wanted inside your private photos in your personal collection. You're the one that's been watching the sessions. And he was like, my goodness, like I've manifested that. And I was like, absolutely. I think we need to get to work on being much, much better at using our personal photos and uploading them. So anyway, this is like a shout out to him because it's a big deal for that kind of stuff to happen in his life. Okay, so that's enough of me going on mute. Patty, let's come out and hear your big win.
All right, so I've been watching the new Positive Prime, and besides that, I just feel like that's a refreshing experience. I love when the sessions start and they ask you to feel into the session. So I can feel meh sometimes, I can feel happy, I can feel powerful. I tend to really evaluate how I feel ahead of time so that I can truly figure out if I feel better later. So this weekend I had a bit of a conflict with my sister, and I was feeling pretty glum about it. And you know, to be honest with you, my first thought was not to watch a Positive Prime session, but it was my second thought. Like, oh, what am I going to do? This is not a really good thing. So I went in and, you know, my thought was that I just wanted to feel better in some way that this was going to get resolved. And I picked meh because that was really how I was feeling, even though I wanted to pick happy and rise to happy. And the interesting thing was when I was done watching the Being Happier session, I felt more powerful. And I completely didn't expect that. I wanted to feel better, but I felt powerful. I felt kind of grounded and like I can do this in a way I was not expecting. So that's my big win. And it really has helped me to move through the day and on into the week without brooding over that situation. So yay to Positive Prime.
Woo! Unmute your. Woo! Patty! Feel free to unmute yourselves and celebrate everybody. Woo! That's awesome. Yes.
Thank you all so much, Patty, for being vulnerable and sharing that as well. In this little sacred circle, I love that. And I love the honesty, the raw, the beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
So Pam Burton in Charlotte, North Carolina, come on out and share a win.
Well, first, can I just say one of my absolute favorite things in the entire world is hearing people's stories about what they're noticing by using this tool. It is like, I can't stop smiling. I get so excited. One of the amazing things that I've experienced recently is in watching Positive Prime. I love Being Happier. I've been watching that, your confidence one. I had to rewrite a bio recently because I had a computer that died. And so I had to recraft a bio kind of from scratch. And normally this kind of thing takes me forever. I don't know about you, but I just like labor over every word and what I'm going to say. And I decided before I was even going to write it, I was going to watch a session. So I watch a session before I'm doing anything now. Work-wise, I'm watching a session, and I literally hammered that thing out in like 10 minutes or less. It was like, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that. I mean, everything just flowed so easily. Whereas before it would be really, I would just labor over every bit of it. Just kind of flowed out it was amazing. And I know it's kind of what I've been doing with Positive Prime. So that's awesome. Woo! They need a lot of time.
Way to go, Pam!
Yeah!
Yeah! Okay, so who else is ready to share? I know we just had Anne Moriarty, but she's disappeared, I think. Who's there? Sophie, are you ready for a share? Oh, no, Anne, do you want to?
Sure. I'm sorry. Somebody came to my door and I couldn't understand the question. So, sorry, I missed. Pam, this is for you.
Thank you, Anne. Thank
So I have been really enjoying the new format, and I've been pulled. I've gotten into a good groove and then pulled out of it. I've been doing a lot of things for my parents, but one of my big wins recently is I have an invention that I was looking to get redesigned, and I got connected with this industrial design professor in a city near me, and I took it to his students a few days ago. And for a very modest amount, they're going to redesign. I'm giving them some cash prizes for the top 3 that I like. And just some different things have come about with that. That's been great, about extra eyes. Like for a very modest amount, I'm having 25 extra sets of eyes on this invention, which is like going to be fabulous. But then as we were leaving, he said, oh, let me show you around the building a little. It's new. And then I looked in this glass case, and there's this front pack kind of thing as opposed to a backpack. And I said, did your students work on that? He said, oh yeah. I said, oh my gosh, my next invention that's waiting to find somebody to create it is a convertible backpack for women. And he goes, well, bring it in. I was like, yay, because I've been looking and looking for somebody who has industrial sewing experience to create this prototype for me. And it's like, there it is. So I was very excited about that.
That is awesome. Woo!
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes! That's amazing! Woo woo!
Do you know what I love? Celebrating progress. Progress, no matter what it is, that is just one step forward in the right direction. Good for you for pursuing your dreams. I love it. Who's ready to come on out next? All you have to do is unmute yourself and start talking. Can I hear somebody unmuting themselves? Who has a win that we can celebrate?
Can you hear me?
Oh, can hear you very faintly. You'll have to talk up just a little bit.
Selena.
Hello, Selena.
Is it Nancy? Do you want to go? Because you're...
No, go, Selena.
Okay. So my story is 2019, the year of doing freaking hard stuff and saying yes to no. And so it doesn't mean saying yes to everything. It just means saying yes to things I definitely always say I can't do, because that's really tackling the fear center of your brain. So last week I've been doing these podcasts, trying to set up a podcast with this guy. Anyway, he's younger than me, and he said, it's my birthday next week. For my birthday, I'm going to do something hard each year. And he said, and I mentioned that all the stuff I've learned about the brain now makes me want to move into comedy because it's really funny. All this suffering, unnecessary. Anyway, so he said, I'm going to do open mic. I said, okay, I'll do it with you. So I did my first comedy session on Sunday night at stand up.
Wow, that is awesome. My golly gosh, go for courage.
Woo-hoo.
Yes!
Way to go.
Selena, you have to tell us, how did it actually make you feel once you got through? Clearly, it had to have been an incredibly fear-producing situation.
It was bloody funny. I wasn't that funny, but the thing was funny. Because they didn't know whether to believe me, whether I was actually a neuroscientist. They didn't know if what I was telling them was actually me making it up. And so the whole time I could say, you're going to think I'm making this up. It's actually true. So it turned out to be hilarious.
Oh, wow. And so are you going to do it again?
Well, I ended up that night, someone gave me, said, can you come next week and do my thing? And now they're going to put me on Instagram to I've been doing this Build Your Life resume course with Jessie Itzler and, Sarah Blakely, who started Spanx. And so they're going to put me on, feature me on their Instagram because I've been doing stuff, Anyway, so yeah, so who knows? And now I'm on Occam's Razor on the ABC. at the end of March. So I thought I'd do a comedy piece for that.
How fantastic. I absolutely love it.
You have to admit it is really funny, don't you?
Yeah. Tell me something, Selena. Is it true that when we celebrate a win and we savor it, we do actually get a dopamine hit, and that's actually pretty healthy for our hippocampus?
Yeah, well, anything like what you're talking about, you know, we did that interview together, right? And anything you can do as soon as you wake up to set your mind in a positive direction, your brain will, because it's a machine, will take you there. And why it matters what you're all talking about is because the brain, over millions of years of evolution, wires in negative things at 5 times the rate of positive things, right? And so therefore you have to consciously wire in the positive to beat the negative, because the negative comes through sensory processing. So sight, sound, smells are always being processed depending on the memories that you've inherited from multiple generations. So it's actually crucial. It's not like necessary. It's like, and depend on how your brain got wired. Without doing that, it'll always take over.
Wow. Thank you, Selena. Because one of the beautiful things for me is that it didn't always look like I was actually going to get my degree. So I uploaded a photograph of me graduating with that cap on. And every single time I see it, it reminds me that I actually achieved something that I set out to do, because I took a break from university and had to go back. And it wasn't so easy, you know, when I went back, because then I was a mature age student. But I'd been such a party girl whilst I tried my undergraduate the first time round. And so I really do advocate that people have all of these triggers that remind them how magnificent they are, and they have actually achieved a lot more than they've ever given themselves credit for.
Yeah, well, I think also visualization. I mean, because the brain's a machine at some level, you know that all the top athletes visualize their success over and over again, as much as they're doing their actual physical practice. They're doing that mental practice. So your brain's a machine, and so whatever you give it, it will take. It'll do it in both directions, good and bad.
Yeah, fantastic. Selena, next time we have to get you to actually speak into a microphone a little bit more loudly, but we absolutely applaud you for doing something much, much scarier than I've ever attempted, but we might take a leaf out of your book. Fantastic, thank you. So who's ready to come out next and share a win that we can all celebrate? Okay, Nancy, are you there? Do you want to unmute yourself really super quickly and come out and tell us how fabulous you are?
Oh, that's so sweet. How fabulous am I? Oh God, I don't know. But you know, when you were talking about the cap and gown, I was thinking, I really have to, it would be helpful for me to put images together of things that I have accomplished in the past.
Absolutely.
I remember years ago, I had a movie camera. I do some acting, and this is after my children and blah, blah, blah. And yes, it's commercials and little films and that, but I thought, oh, wait a minute, that happened. You know, I do work in front of a camera now. And so those times, it's so easy when you're freelancing to lose heart, you know, because you're always putting feelers out. And you know, I was looking at a full-time job today thinking, oh God, maybe I should just go back to that. But I could feel my heart just, it's not in it, you know. And so this is a really good reminder about just staying with it, you know. For this wonderful African-American woman, what's her name? Trent, her last name Trent. She was so inspiring. She wrote a book called The Awakening Woman, and, you know, grew up poverty, 4 children by the time she was 18. And she had decided her only goal was to be able to graduate from high school and go to the United States and go to college. And, you know, anyway, it's miraculous how all these things happen. But you know, it was decades of real struggle, but she did it, you know. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just blathering on. I don't have anything in particular to celebrate.
How about we just celebrate you? Woo! Woo!
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you. And you know what? You're celebrating the fact that you know how to put yourself into an awesome place emotionally, mentally, and physically. And yes, if you haven't yet upgraded your account inside Positive Prime, do so. Undoubtedly edit your sessions with your own private photos. It's really important.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that I see another Nancy's hand raised. Are you ready to come out? Nancy, would you like to unmute yourself?
Me.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't know how to unmute myself.
There you go. I've done it for you. Woo!
Oh, you have? So you can hear me now. I've lost you as far as your beautiful face and celebration. You're such a cheerleader. Let's see. How do I get back to the Zoom picture?
Oh, it doesn't matter. We can hear you anyway, and we can feel you.
Okay.
So go ahead and share your beautiful win.
Okay. Well, my wins have been making the transition, moving from my apartment to my new home, which is a motorhome, so I can be flexible to expand my business, teaching healing meditations. But it's going to take a while, so it's having patience. But the good news is building my business here in Phoenix, Arizona, that I'm now teaching 4 classes a week. And the win was yesterday, Monday. I teach 2 classes on Monday and 2 on Friday. So yesterday, one of the students, and oh, just a moment here. I had the alarm to be able to zoom in to you. Because I just finished my van driving. That's why I couldn't talk to you earlier, because I was still driving back to the office. That's van driving for the disabled adults. So I had dropped off the last disabled adult and getting back to the office. So my win was yesterday. One of the students, when she came the first time, and it was, this was a new class I was teaching that started in January. And she came to the class, and she was really having trouble because she has high blood pressure. And she had an injury that really affected her thinking and her brain, and with the medication she was on. So I was really concerned because she couldn't handle like having my auditory music background while I'm doing the kinetic movements, the Qigong and Tai Chi. But anyway, she showed up again a couple weeks ago, and yesterday after class she came up to me. And she was just so grateful with what I've provided to her, that they have settled her medication for high blood pressure, so she's more able to think more clearly. And with my class, she just said she's just getting so much more peaceful and getting more clarity. One of the movements we do is gaining energy for a pathway to clarity. And so she just went on, and at the end of our conversation, she says, "You want a hug?" And I says, "Yeah, and I want to give one," you know, and just to share that connection was just wonderful. So that's my win.
We're so proud of you, Nancy. And in this phase of your life, when you are giving so much back to your community and to seniors and keeping them mobile and flexible, we really appreciate the contribution that you're making. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and we love you.
Yeah. So, because with this transition that I'm still in, it's been real challenging, and I've lost my momentum with, you know, Mind PT and the positive priming, because I know that would for me to get back into it, it could just empower me so much more. So
Okay,
thank you,
good.
Kim,
So
for
back.
keeping
Woo!
me in touch.
Yeah!
Thank you. Aha. Woohoo.
All right, well, we'll see you on the next celebration circle, and we'll celebrate that you've watched your sessions every day.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Okay, so quickly before we close out here, who else wants to share? Put your hand up or unmute yourself and go, go, go. I can see there are more participants. Perhaps you just wanted to share in the energy, and we'll celebrate you and we'll thank you for being here. On a count of 5, 4, get ready to unmute yourself. 3, 2, 1. As our very first celebration circle, thank you so much for showing up. I really appreciate it. It is actually incredible as we all share our own energy. We magnify and amplify it for everybody else. It puts us in vibrational alignment. It absolutely does. And so let's make sure that we come to the next one with another great success story. And literally, if you need to re-watch this, you'll receive the energy again, right? So do that and encourage some of your friends to watch Positive Prime. It's really easy, as everybody now knows. It's free to sign up and use. And we hope that this circle grows much larger. Thank you so much. Love you all.
Thank you. Great to see everybody and hear.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Well done,